After spending yesterday riding the dirt trails through the forest, I needed to clean my chain again. And seeing I was in the wash bay, I may as well give the whole bike a quick wash. And remembering to re-oil the chain. Now I need to sort out this back tyre, which was worn down to the wear indicator and had a few slices in it. So off to the Royal Enfield store in Launceston, and they were kind enough to put the tyre on for me. The tread on the new Pirelli Scorpion tyre is not as knobbly as the Dunlop 605 it replaced, but it will last over double the mileage. Hopefully there's enough grip on it for dirt roads. I'll soon find out. With that all done, it was time to get back on the road again. I made my way through Launceston and out to the countryside. I decided to head up to the Tasmanian Central Highlands, also known as the Lake Country of Tasmania. The easiest way to get there was through the town of Deloraine. The area around Deloraine was first explored in the early 1820s for farmland, and today is now a major agricultural centre. The town itself is a quaint little country town, with art and craft shows, car shows, and a lot of tourists pass through it, as it is the connection point for Cradle Mountain, the Great Western Tiers, Mole Creek, and where I'm heading, the Central Highlands. I made the turn onto Highlands Lake Road. The Central Highlands is over 1,000 metres above sea level, so it was all uphill from here. Again, another echidna crossing the road in the middle of the day. I then snaked my way up the side of the plateau. I could feel the temperature change as I was getting higher. The area is covered by dolerite rock, the stuff you find in roads and the base of train tracks. It's also used to construct dams and levees, which is handy as there are quite a few up here. I came across the first lake, so I pulled over to check it out. So this is Pine Lake. It's the first lake you get to on the way up from Deloraine into the high country around the Great Lake. This isn't the Great Lake, this is only a small lake, but we'll get there. So one of the reasons for stopping was to warm up and actually walk. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers on. I still have 3 left I can put on. It's the middle of the day and it is brisk in the middle of summer. Oh, it's going to be fun camping tonight. Thermals, I guaranteed, are getting busted out today. You can see how much the makeup of the landscape's changed here. Really rocky. All the trees are quite small shrubs. Must be brutal here in winter. Beautiful, but really, really cold. I haven't actually worked out where I'm going to stay. Probably going to be near a lake. Probably need a windbreak just in case it gets a little windy through the night. The Great Lake was originally a small freshwater lake fed by the Pine and Brenton streams. It was dammed in 1922, which created its current size of 176 square kilometres and is part of the hydro scheme. You can see why they call it the Great Lake, especially if you've gone through Pine Lake first. In a lot of areas in the world, if you had a beautiful lake in the mountains, you'd see million-dollar houses lining the shores. But up here, it's a little different. There are hundreds of fishing shacks around the lakes. The area is famous for its trout fishing, as trouts were introduced in the 1860s. Fishing in Tasmania is the biggest participation activity. It's even hosted the World Fly Fishing Championships. I rode into Lyweenie. It is the coldest permanently inhabited place in Australia. It was established in the early 1920s as a base for part of the hydro scheme. In January 2020, Lyweenie's population doubled to 2, that being the police officer and the Internal Fisheries Service officer. And appropriately, Lyweenie's name was derived from a Tasmanian Aboriginal word meaning frigid. I pulled into the Great Lakes General Store to try and warm up and to search for somewhere to camp tonight. I picked a lake that looked like it would be quiet, as it was out of the way. I've found myself a campsite. This is the first spot I've looked at as a campsite. It's Penstock Lagoon, and I'll take it. Got a place for a fire, which I'm going to need, and I'm going to start pretty quickly. Pretty quiet, there's nobody about. So the first thing to do is work out where to put the tent. Like normally it looks like you'd probably drop your tent about there, but just over here, this grass looks way softer. I think the grass is going to win. I'll investigate a bit more, but I think it's going to win. Now to find some firewood and watch out for snakes. Now that piece of wood would be perfect, just don't know if I can get it to the campsite. Maybe I'll find one a little smaller. So I've got the wood to get the fire started at least, and I think I'll start it first to see where the smoke's going, if it's consistent in the one direction, so I can set my tent up, not in the smoke. I got a burger somewhere. In fact, it was so good I went back and got a second. And anyway, these things, and I thought they'd be perfect for starting a fire. But so far I haven't been able to have a fire because you can't have one in a national park, and when I've been stealth camping, well, fires aren't really stealth. So, I'm gonna set myself a fire. We'll see how that goes. So this is a flint. Pull off, you strike it that way into the fire. This is a lighter, works way more effective. That's just my backup in case things go really sideways. That's just sensible. I know now where not to put the tent. The ground underneath is very springy and soft. Winning. This lake seems like a men's shed, a place to get away and be with your thoughts, and no one's going to hassle you. So reading the room, so to speak, when I spotted someone, I kept my distance. I had something to eat. My staple when travelling on a bike, a tin of tuna. Small, easy to pack, and lasts forever. It's nothing like watching a fire for hours. It's so warm, it's so good. As soon as you walk away from it, it's a little chilly. I looked outside the tent to see the sunrise. But as there was so much dew on the ground, the temperature was 1 degree Celsius, and I had nowhere to be, I decided to stay in the tent for a while longer, as the sun would heat up the tent and dry off the dew, hopefully. Well, plan worked. It's warmer inside the tent than out. I don't think the fly on the tent's going to dry that quick, so I'll probably have to put it away wet. Oh well, next spot I'll dry it out. And I didn't make it through all my firewood. Leave it for the next person. Camp's packed up, so on the road again. There's Arthur Lake I might go check out, and then just keep heading south. Arthur's Lake is Tasmania's most popular trout fishery. The area was dammed in the 1920s as part of the hydro scheme. It was originally made up of 2 lakes, Blue Lake and Sand Lake, and the Moorash Marsh. So this is Arthur's Lake, another stunning lake up here in the Highlands, and I've just noticed some pretty cool camp spots here. Right on the water. Last night's one had the grasses into the water, so couldn't really get in, whereas here it's all rocky right to the edge. I'll have to put this camp spot on the list next time I come through. I noticed on the map that there was a dirt road that ran along the lake, so I thought I'd ride down it a little bit to check it out. There were a few more fishing shacks, but eventually the road finished at a dead end. So I turned around, making my way back the way I came. I pulled over to see the best way off the Highlands. As I zoomed in, I noticed a road to the east. With that many switchbacks, it was definitely worth heading in that direction. Ah, another dirt road. A quick look wouldn't hurt. This was the east side of the Great Lake. I thought I'd better at least check out how cold the water was up here. Okay, that was surprisingly warm. Probably because it's the edge. I'll go on the pontoon and see if it's colder. I mean, you could easily get in. Okay, the Great Lake's not so cold. You could actually get in and swim. I'd have to take a lot of gear off though. The air temperature, however, is still cold, so not today. So far so good with the new tyre. It isn't as knobbly as the old one, so I am quite cautious with it. But dirt roads, fine. Sand, I don't think it'd do it. Well, not deep sand. came upon the switchback section, dropping rapidly down from the plateau. This pipeline was part of the Powhatan power station. The pipe feeds water down to where the turbines are. Imagine if you could go down it like a water slide. I think you'd probably get up a bit of speed. Not exactly sure if you'd survive though. They had a lot of rain through here a few months ago, and you can see this small stream turned into a torrent, washing away everything in its path, even moving rocks the size of buses. This is the runoff from the power station, travelling down this man-made canal back into the river system. Well, look at that. 2 choices, and one of them's dirt. Not hard to guess which way I'm going.